Namaskar. Hello friends. We are looking at retirement. Today we will see what I think retirement should not be. Repeat, what retirement should not be. Retirement is not giving up one job only to take up another one. As far as possible, you should not take up another regular job after retirement from your regular job. If for any reason, like financial situation, you feel forced to take up a gainful employment even after retirement, keep in mind the following. First and foremost, remember that you don't have to maintain the same standard of living after retirement. So carefully assess if you can maintain a simple style of living with the savings accumulated so far. If so, you should avoid the temptation of taking up a job. Secondly, in case your financial position is really very weak and you think you have to take up a gainful employment, try and see if you can get a part-time job. Your post-retirement job should preferably be as less onerous as possible in terms of the time and effort you have to put in, as also the responsibilities that you have to shoulder in the job. That way, you will be able to pursue more easily a spiritual path alongside your job. If you are in a very dire financial condition after retirement from your regular job and have to take up another full-time job, consider it as postponement of true retirement. But keep in mind that you should look for true retirement as early as possible. Do not take up a job after retirement just because you are getting one. Do not take up a job because some money is always welcome. Do not take up a job just to occupy your time. Instead, find some other way of passing time appropriate to the stage of life you are at, say like spiritual pursuit. It is not for indulging in the satisfaction of the worldly desires anymore, howsoever noble the objective may be. For example, even the so-called social work is rooted in this world and is vulnerable to the politics and machinations of this world, and that can lead to dissatisfaction, frustration, unnecessary struggle, ego clashes, credit hogging, fairness, unfairness considerations, etc. Do not think anymore that it is your duty to correct the wrongdoings of the society, polity, government by way of involving in social work or politics. Remember, the right time for it was when you were younger and still rooted in the worldly affairs. If you couldn't do it then, because of your preoccupation with earning your living and tending to your family, too bad for you. Forget it now. It is not for doing various things at the personal level that you wanted to do earlier but could not do for want of time. For example, traveling, art, that is drawing, painting, seeing movies, plays, attending music concerts, etc. Time for that is anyway over. Whatever you have managed to do so far is sufficient, and whatever you couldn't do, it does not matter. It is like getting up late one morning and having late breakfast at 11 o'clock, lunch at 3 o'clock, evening tea at 7, and dinner at 11 p.m. You can imagine the problem this can cause to your bodily systems that may be used to breakfast at 8:30, lunch at 1:30, evening tea at 5 p.m. and dinner at 9 p.m. On a day that you are running late, it is better to skip a meal in between, say lunch, by converting breakfast into a brunch, and stick to the normal timings for the subsequent meals. In the same manner, in life, if you have not had time for certain activities during the normal life phase appropriate for it, it is better to skip those activities. Otherwise, you may end up doing things at wrong times and also may miss out on certain activities altogether because you will die at the appointed time anyway. It is not for spending more time with your family, which you couldn't do earlier because you were too busy earning money, name, and fame. In any case, it is wiser for one to live a balanced life during his grihasthashram phase, devoting appropriate time to various aspects like earning money, satisfying one's desires, and supporting one's family and community. If you did not keep a good balance, you should not try to compensate for some of your earlier failings after retirement. Keep in mind the Hindi saying, "Boond se gayi wo haud se nahi aati." What is lost as a drop cannot be recouped even by a barrel full. Moreover, your family has already settled into their own respective lives and routines without you, and they themselves may not like you to now enter their routine and start interfering. Remember the little story at the beginning of this chapter? A lady's retirement is not for taking care of the kitchen just because her daughter-in-law goes to work. As retired grandparents, you should not even get into taking care of your grandchildren only because your son and daughter-in-law both go to work. If you get tied to it, you will just perpetuate your worldly activities and will not be able to move on to the spiritual path. Moreover, in these modern times, it is highly likely that your help of this nature may turn out to be thankless. I know of an aunt of mine who was in this kind of a situation. When she was living out the last few days of her life and was bedridden, her grandson, whom she had brought up so lovingly, did not want her around. It is therefore necessary to make it clear to your sons and daughters-in-law and daughters and sons-in-law that when they plan their married life and how to bring up their children, etc., they should not take your support for granted. In other words, it is useful to be upfront with your children and tell them that you are no more interested in prapanch, that is, householder's life. You want to be independent and pursue your own life without any more remaining tied up with them and their lives. You may advise them that only one of the two, namely either husband or wife, should go out to work so that the other one can stay at home and take care of the household and the children. In this connection, I will like to share with you an idea that has always been very dear to my heart. I strongly believe that both husband and wife going out on a full-time job is neither in the interest of the family nor that of the society at large. In such a situation, the grandparents have to take care of their grandchildren, although they may not be up to it physically. Also, it deprives the grandparents of the freedom to do their own thing during their twilight years. Alternatively, the kids have to be left in the care of a daycare center, who may not really take good care of them. Both these scenarios are not very desirable. As far as the larger social consideration goes, a working couple has unnecessarily pocketed an extra job that could be badly required by someone else who may be equally qualified. One job each in the two families concerned is much more equitable than two jobs in one family and none in the other family. However, lest I be accused of being a male chauvinist, let me clarify that I don't mean to say only the husband should take up a job and the wife should stay home. No, any one of the two may go out for work and the other should stay home. There are many useful and interesting things that can be done at home apart from taking care of the household. We should not take vested interest in anything pertaining to the people around us, especially the younger generation. We should preferably not involve ourselves with their lives. But if our involvement is unavoidable for any reasons, then we should just do what the next generation wants. We should not impose our thinking and philosophies on anybody. Evolution envisages change and not continuation of the same thing. So don't expect, much less force the next generation to be the way you have been. It is not for seeking frivolous entertainment like TV programs, movies, etc. These activities are not only useless, but they corrupt your mind, thereby adversely affecting your progress on the spiritual path. Retirement is not for participating in meaningless chat groups that indulge in important discussions, criticisms, suggestions, opinions pertaining to the current affairs of the world. They serve no purpose at this stage except as a way of passing time. If you are an extrovert and social kind of a person, the right time for you to get involved in social, political activities was during your youth. It's too late for you to start it after your retirement, not only from your personal point of view, but also from the society's point of view. The reason for this is that the society can do better with a younger generation in the lead rather than old retired people. As time progresses and as things change rapidly with time, older people usually cannot keep pace with it, and hence they may tend to retard the progress of the society as a whole, more so if they are the leaders. You can see this very commonly as you find many older people either afraid of or not being comfortable using modern technology like computers, mobile phones, etc. While it may be tempting to subscribe to the view that in your old age, your experience and maturity can be valuable to the society, the flip side of the coin is your outdatedness and unwillingness to change. People are likely to grow cynical with age in the backdrop of the various kinds of experiences they have had through their life. The society has a better chance of progressing if it is led by youthful enthusiasm and optimism rather than old age cynicism and weariness. Also remember that values keep changing with times, and it is futile to expect and even more futile to compel the younger generation to stick to the same old values that were valid for your generation. It is not for you to try and change the world, definitely not after retirement. In any case, tell yourself that the world will be what the Creator wants it to be like. He has created the world with a wide variety of things in it for His own mysterious purpose. It is just like a movie story that has good, bad, and indifferent characters, so as to provide a spicy entertainment to the audience. Imagine a movie with only all good characters, and we are likely to find it boring. Variety is the spice of life. So leave the world to its own fate, as ordained by the Almighty. In other words, look at the world around you and the events happening in it with a passive observer's attitude, and do not feel agitated by anything, much less fight against the world. Remember, it is Kali Yuga that is presently going on, when things will turn from bad to worse. It is not for us to look for changing it for better. Thank you. I'll stop here and see you the next time. Until then, bye. Take care.